How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and this will probably be my last video on this channel for quite some time. If you need a little bit more explanation, please check out my previous video, the last channel update. I go into depth of what's going on behind the scenes here. Not the greatest news, but it's also not the complete end of the channel. It's going to be sparse for a bit, so hopefully you really appreciate this. And if you again are missing me and you want to see more of me, go check out and subscribe to the Sharp Hand Path. That is my martial arts channel where I document my martial arts journey, as well as do some martial arts film unboxings and reviews, etc. Lots of good stuff over there. And yeah, cool to catch up on some past videos that I've done if you haven't seen anything over there. So would greatly appreciate your patronage over there and viewership. Let's move on to the last horror films to watch or avoid in a while. So first up, no one likes this movie, but you know, the wife and I took our kids to it. They enjoyed it. It is Night Swim. It is a Blumhouse film. In this household, we believe in Blumhouse, so I always say, in Blumhouse we trust. They don't always make the best films, in my opinion, but I don't think any of them have been too much of a miss. Although, Get Out, not a fan of Jordan Peele's work at all. It just doesn't work for me. I'm not even going to go watch Nope. I've seen Get Out. I think we might even have a copy or something, but yeah, not the greatest thing. Anyways, this film is okay. It's not very scary. It's definitely for something for kids to ease into horror, or if you have like a partner that isn't really into horror and you want to ease them into it, this would probably be a good one to do it with. There's not really much gore. There's not really too much crazy jump scares. There's nothing too super disturbing in it. There's just some mild creepiness and a little bit of effects here and there that arguably could be bad or good depending on your opinion on it. But yeah, this Blumhouse film was based around a family that's kind of moved to a new house. The father is an ex-baseball player. They've got multiple sclerosis now, I think, MS. And for some reason, this pool is slowly making him better, but it's haunted, and the more he gets better, the worse things start happening to his family, and they have to figure out what the curse is and break it before someone in the family gets sacrificed for his betterment. So yeah, pretty simple plot. If you're not into baseball, you're not going to like all the baseball references in this, but a pretty good basic starter horror film for any kid or anyone who's not really into horror and trying to dip their toes into it. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Could be better, could have been worse. All right, moving on. This is such a good film. It's horror, but it's more campy, slapstick, Tim Burton-y type of horror. This is Lisa Frankenstein. It has Cole Sprouse and Catherine Newton. Catherine Newton was in Freaky and possibly Totally Killer. I might be wrong. Anyways, she's an alright actress. She's more attractive when she's not smiling with those giant chiclet teeth. I know I can't complain. My teeth are garbage. I got the British smile. But as someone who sees other people and, you know, can make judgments about their appearances just like anyone else can, her smile is very plastic and just, yeah, I don't know why I'm dwelling on that so much. Anyways, this film is cool. It's a very coming of age, boy meets girl, but boy's dead type of thing. There's a lot of slapstick in this. His character kind of learning to talk again and forming words is funny. He bonks his head on a sun tanning bed thing a few times. She screams at him and he reacts similarly but more dramatically. Also funny, there's a scene where someone's dick gets chopped off and flies through the air. Yeah, honestly, this is a fun, hilarious, weird film. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen Lisa Frankenstein yet for whatever reason. Disc isn't too super crazy, just pink and then the title on there. The wife's a big fan of Cole Sprouse. She likes the Dylan and Cole brothers. She also watching the Beautiful Disaster and Beautiful Wedding films that are going on. They're okay. Some of it's funny. Some of it's kind of more geared to cis women. It is what it is. Anyways, I highly recommend this. This is a great fun time horror slapstick film that's very Tim Burton-y, very Edward Scissorhands feeling for sure. 8.5 out of 10. Really, really good. There's a little bit of gore, but not too much. Yeah, I highly recommend you see it. Next up is not really horror, but it's more a creature feature, and I feel like some of it's more action-y. So I don't know if it really deserves to be in this, but I'm putting it in anyway because I like the monster universe. This is Godzilla versus Kong. There's the back. I have King of the Monsters, I have Godzilla, I have Kong Skull Island. So obviously I need to get this one. This is a double disc with probably bonus features on it. So there's a Kong disc and a Godzilla disc. Pretty cool. They're transporting Kong from Monster Island, trying to get him closer to, I guess, the Middle Earth or whatever it's called, Center Earth. The evil organization Monarch is involved in this, and they're creating some sort of mecha character to take on the Titans. Godzilla and Kong obviously fight for a bit, but then have to take on this mecha character. Then they kind of go their own separate ways, and then there's, I think, a bit of a post-credit scene alluding to the next film, which is Godzilla X Kong, which was also really good. I need to get a copy of that on DVD eventually. But yeah, so not really horror. I just like to see the giant monsters fighting each other and smashing into buildings, and a little bit of lore build up the human characters and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see where they go with Godzilla X Kong 2. I know that's not going to be the actual title of it when it ends, but I will definitely be collecting all these. These are really good. Do you like the current monster universe with Godzilla and Kong in it? What other giant creature do you think should have a side film? I know everyone thinks the Son of Kong should be a thing. Maybe they should bring in like the weird alien creatures in this. There's like a turtle character in this at one point too, like a giant monster turtle. Wouldn't mind seeing the origins of that, or that creature fight Kong and Godzilla, or either one. But yeah, this was good. A 7.5 out of 10. It's a creature monster Godzilla Kong film. If you've seen them, you know what they are. You either like the series going forward or not, or you just like the old Toho ones. Maybe you liked Godzilla -1 better, which is fair. It's a more serious take on Godzilla, but I don't know. I'm liking this kind of like action-y monster verse. It's neat to me. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for that. The next three are a bunch of Frankenstein related films, and I was super shocked to see how well the video I did on it is. So let's talk about them here. The next two are the Frankenstein's Army and Army of Frankensteins. I did a what's the difference video and compared the two and kind of talked about which one should you get, which one shouldn't you get. Obviously, if you like Frankenstein, you should get both of them. But honestly, Frankenstein's Army is a lot more serious, a lot more brutal, a lot more gory, a lot more like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Very much like the segment from that one VHS film. Very creepy. A lot of like cyborgy creatures on there. You can kind of see some of them on the front cover there and on the back, I think. Yeah, you can sort of see some on the back. But yeah, this guy is working for the Nazis and creating these weird, freakish monsters, and he's supposed to be, I guess, some sort of Victor Frankenstein of some sort, but he's creating some really freaky, deaky creatures. I would highly recommend searching up Frankenstein's Army and getting this one. I don't remember what I rated it in the old video, but I'm giving this like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. Really good. This one, on the other hand, is very campy, very chill in comparison, not as much gore. There is a bit of gore, but the people don't react to it as intensely as they do in the other one, and the monsters in this aren't as gnarly or as kind of intimidating. And then there's like this weird Franken wolf cat thing. But yeah, so basically a bunch of Frankensteins get pulled from a bunch of different universes into the main world here, and then they get zipped back to Civil War time, and the civil army has to not only defeat the rebels, they also have to defeat the army of Frankensteins and get back to their own time, etc. It sounds a lot cooler than what it is. If you're into Frankenstein, pick it up. This one is maybe a 5 out of 10. Not that great. Alright, third and final Frankenstein movie in this collection update is something I was hoping was going to be so much better, considering it's, you know, written or directed and produced by Damien Leone, the creator of Terrifier. This is Frankenstein versus the Mummy. That artwork is a lot cooler than the movie and is a lot more enticing. The back artwork is also a lot more enticing and cooler than what the movie actually is. Unfortunately, this is almost a indie film, B movie, like Z class. The acting in it is pretty bad. The plot moves along at a snail's pace, and it doesn't really get interesting until Frankenstein's monster actually comes alive and starts doing things. And then the fight between the Mummy and Frankenstein's monster isn't all that great. They basically just like shove each other around, throw each other into walls, punch each other a bit, do like a suplex, do some weird like WWF fighting type of things. Yeah, there's not really too much crazy jumping around, super strength. For a movie called Frankenstein versus the Mummy, I was hoping for too much, clearly. But it's honestly because of Damien Leone. The creatures look is good, the effects are good, but the plot and the acting looks like your brother or sister just decided to go out and film some stuff with their friends, and they never took any acting classes or anything like that. It is not good. So unless you're a huge fan of Damien Leone, then maybe don't get this one. But if you like Frankenstein and you like the Mummy, maybe pick it up just because it has the Frankenstein and the Mummy in it, and because it's Damien Leone. But I wish I could give it more, but I can't. It's a 4 out of 10. And that's only because it has the Frankenstein and the Mummy, and the effects are okay, and it's made by Damien Leone. Everything else is a 0. It's pretty bad. Happy to have it in the collection, but I am never watching it again, unless it's to show someone how bad it is. Moving on to a couple of Matthew Lillard horror type films. The first one, it's a good movie, but the quality and the image gradient and it being this small on the screen, ooh boy, does that make it suffer. Anyways, this is a copy of The Curve, or in England, Dead Man's Curve. This is an older Matthew Lillard psychological thriller, whodunit kind of horror film. Basically, the disc, I hate these discs. Look at that. Look how entertaining that disc is. Look at all the silver and no art. But yes, this film is basically, if your roommate dies or commits suicide, you basically get straight A's and you pass college or university or whatever. So the plan is for one of them to kill one of the roommates or friends and make it look like a suicide so they can pass with honors. That's literally it. They try to find ways to knock off their roommates, and there is like a triple or quadruple cross, not like a double cross, but like a triple or quadruple cross at the end, where it's like, oh, well, who's actually with who, and whose side are you on, and is this actually happening, or is this just a setup for something else that's happening? And it's some really cringy, poor writing, but they thought they were doing something clever type of shit. No. Unless you're a super huge fan of Matthew Lillard and like the angsty teen weird type of films like Scream and stuff like that, then I would also pass on this. But being a fan of Matthew Lillard, being a fan of the 2000s, late 90s teen horror thriller type of films, it's okay. I just wish that it was in better quality, because you see the screen right now, it's like this. it's like this right in the middle, and then there's, I think, a little bit missing at the top. So it's like it's a square that's like this, and it's still grainy. It's zoomed out, and it's like, what the fuck? I kind of wish there was a Blu-ray version of this so I can see it in high quality, but the movie almost isn't good enough to buy a Blu-ray copy, especially for the $25 to $28 Canadian that the company would probably want for it. Again, unless you're super duper huge into 2000s, late 90s teen horror, PG-13 horror type of films, like Sarah Hawkinson from Possessed by Horror is, I wouldn't worry about this one. But if you have to have everything that Matthew Lillard's done because you're crushing on him or something, then yeah, maybe pick this up. Maybe it'll be a hoot to see him in something other than Scream or Scooby-Doo. That is a 5 out of 10, and that's being nice. Next is another PG-13 2000s, late 90s horror thriller film. I didn't think I seen this, and I even asked Mike from We Watched a Movie what movie that was behind him sitting on the shelf. It was like way back here. I'm like, what is that? Because I couldn't read it. You probably can't read from here either. But it is Soul Survivors, the killer cut, apparently, with Elijah Dushku, Luke Wilson, Wes Bentley, and Casey Affleck, from the producers of I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend. So yeah, you kind of have an idea of what you're in for. These teens do teen shit. They go to a rave, they run over their friends, they do crazy, outlandish things, and wonder why bad things are happening to them, and have to figure shit out, and why things are going down at the end of the movie. And there's a twist. You can kind of see it coming. Even my dumbass, who doesn't see twists coming, saw this coming. But yeah, better quality film. This is actually way better. I don't know if I showed you the inside. I will show you the inside. There we go. Now I can continue on with my thought. This is a way better quality of film than this. This was actually the full fucking screen, and it wasn't grainy. It wasn't zoomed out. Good. I don't even think I had to change the volume up and down for the sound effects and the talking scenes. So this automatically gets at least a 6 or a 7 because of that. But also, kind of neat. Check it out. It doesn't have Matthew Lillard in it. Sorry, anyone who was hoping for that. But this is also worth adding to your PG-13 type of teen horror. What? Rated R. Maybe in Canada. But yeah, got a teen thriller, whodunit, what's gonna happen, figure shit out type of horror film. Movies that are like Scream for 500, Pat. Thanks, I'll take it. Alright, last film on this. Hopefully I can cut this down to shorter than 20 minutes. Dear Lord. It's not a horror film. I wouldn't even say 50%. But there are horrific things that happen in it. And there are giant creatures in it. It's kind of like an action creature horror film again. This is in here for the same reason that Godzilla vs. Kong is in here. This is The Meg 2, The Trench, with Jason Statham. Which the wife and I have kind of been on a shark horror film kick lately. Don't know why. We just kind of got into it. I think 37 Meters Down, or whatever that film is, I'll put it here. That kind of sparked our interest into shark movies. So we watched that. We watched The Meg. We watched The Meg 2. We watched Something in the Water. It's okay. If you really love shark movies, maybe watch that. But honestly, I'd probably watch The Meg 1 and 2 and 37 Meters Down. Or is it 47 Meters Down? Those two films, really good freaky horror films. This got shit on by the critics. I don't know why. Some of it dragged, and if you're not completely wired up on caffeine, you might, have a problem sitting through certain parts of it and paying attention. But it's got that cool House of the Dead feel at one point, where people are running across the field and things are chasing them and they're, getting picked off one by one. I like that part. And of course, they're digging around in the trench, trying to look for, megalodons and shit. Kind of cool. Giant sharks are scary. And then you have Jason Statham doing his tough guy Brit thing. And then you have people shooting at Jason Statham and their friends, which is apparently a bad thing. I don't know. The critics don't like it. It doesn't bother me any. The creatures in this were cool. There's a couple of giant creatures that you were not expecting. One in particular with tentacles, That probably gave it away. But either way, that's cool that that popped in there. I will definitely be checking out Meg 3 if it happens. Yeah, this is a fun-ass time. I enjoyed it. The Oriental guy that's friends with Jason Statham is pretty funny in this. He's a pretty good comic relief. And I like his little like clicky thing that he tries to talk to the sharks with. Does it work? Does it not work? Watch and find out. But yeah, good movie. I liked it. It's 7.5 out of 10 for me. I like sharks. I like Jason Statham. I don't know, maybe I'm just super duper easy to please, but you let me know what you think of the Meg 2. Was it good? Was it bad? Is it horror? Is it not? Anyways, that's it for me. That is my stack of horror films that I'm definitely going to drop. There's a thumbnail for you. And that is going to be the last little bit of content on this channel for probably a while, unless something crazy comes up and I really got to show you and I have time on my hands to do it with all the stuff that's going on. I don't want to get into it again on this video. If you want to know more about the situation, check out the channel update in the last video. But yes, hopefully everyone is cool that you're not going to see me for a bit. But if you really are missing me, again, last chance to go subscribe to the Sharphead Path channel and check out my martial arts journey and films and reviews over there. That's it. I will see you guys in the future at some point. This isn't goodbye. It's just farewell for now. Cheers. For glory, for the rebellion, Slammerella out.